Hi, friends, and welcome to the most important event of your life. Today is the day when you go from down here to way up here in one simple trick. Look, everyone, each of us, you, me, her, them, we all need one thing. What is it? Love. You can't get by these days without plenty of love, both in your pockets and in your bank account. That's why I'm here today to save your life for the rest of your life and everyone's lives by teaching you how to force anyone to instantly fall in love with you forever. Before I tell you the trick, I'm not just going to rush right in. I got to do some build up, some suspense here, okay? First of all, let's talk about what is love. Love is an emotion. It's a feeling in your heart, supposedly. I, however, tend to think of love more as a status that you earn by closeness to me and by being my relationship partner or a family member. So if you are my girlfriend, then you have the status, I love you. And if you're not, then you probably don't. Or if you're my daughter, you have the status, I love you. But if you're not, then you probably don't. So that's what I tend to think of love as. But in this live stream, I'm going to reveal the most powerful secret ever released from the hidden mysteries of the ancient Asiatic continent of China, which was the proto-continent that split into China and Japan. It was called Chaipanea. It also included Korea. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Eric.
Today I'm revealing a pretty important secret.
What's that?
How to force anyone to instantly fall in love with you forever.
That sounds amazing. I want that.
Well, you don't need that because I already fall in love with you forever.
Oh, I have that too.
You don't need my trick. But if you were not already with me and not already in a relationship, then you would use that trick to probably to make me fall in love with you forever.
Forever.
It's an extremely powerful trick.
Hey, Levi Samuels.
Hi, Levi Samuels.
I'm in my pajamas, so I'll get I'll get dressed and I'll come back.
So this morning I woke up at 8:30 and I was like, I told my clients I did 2 hours of debate prep work before class. I'm not going to really have enough stuff done before class. Well, whatever, I'll be cranking on. I put in an hour, but what I realized shortly after beginning the debate prep period was this is not going to be nearly as big of a problem as or not nearly as much work as it normally is, because in 2013 and 2014, we had this exact same topic. And that was at the point when I was at the pinnacle of my juggernaut program at Kudos. I had a big program. I had, assistant coaches. I had a very winning team. We kicked all kinds of ass. And I prepped the living shit out of that topic. Like I already have made 7 cases that we could use as default cases. And that's just my initial gathering of cases from back then. I got 4 Fs and 3 negs. So
Wow.
Plus I had a full topic breakdown. I had argument lists. And the crazy thing is the wording of the topic is exactly the same. That almost never happens. I knew we had a compulsory voting topic before, but like the one before was in a democracy, voting not to be compulsory. The current topic is voting not to be compulsory in a democracy. So it's a little different. They moved the prepositional phrase from the front to the end. But
so do you think that's something that is blamed on COVID?
Them using the same topic?
Yeah.
No, LD does this. They put up 3 topics each every 2 months. Like they'll put up the next 3 topics for the next topic to vote on now or soon. And then anybody in NSDA, students, coaches, whatever, can vote on which of the 3 topics they're going to use in the actual competitions. I didn't want this topic. I wanted the social media topic.
Yeah.
which was that platforms ought to be legally responsible for the content their users placed on the platforms, which was a very interesting topic.
Yeah.
But instead, the students and coaches have voted for this topic, and the fact that it was one we'd had before, I mean, I don't know. The other two topics were ones we never had before, but they went with this one. I mean, the other topic that wasn't that interesting to me, I think, was a topic that basically evoked all the argument blocks from get rid of the electoral college, but it wasn't technically about the electoral college, but it was a small state, big state topic. I don't even remember exactly what it was anymore. Do you think it's possible that Enneagram is more useful and consistent for determining compatibility than MBTI? I was already saying no to you until I got to the word compatibility. Yes, probably, possibly.
Yes, I do too. I think it supports it. If you have something,
it's the MBTI might tell me I need an INFJ, but an Enneagram type tells me which INFJ.
Right. And hello, Shona and Baron. I actually last year was doing a lot of this reflection on Enneagram, and I came to the conclusion that 7s are best with 7s, despite a lot of articles saying that 5s and 9s are good with 7s, sometimes 1, because 7s like to play a lot, and they don't. In the kind of world that we live in, 7s like to do more what maybe typical society would say is unproductive, rather than like the standard way of living. So
if you want to be with a 7, you have to have a high tolerance for hearing the following thing. I don't feel like that right now.
Yeah. And not many people do.
It's you're best suited if you're in a relationship where both partners say about anything taskish later, maybe. Okay, not right now. Let's not let's not go overboard.
So I was on Instagram before, and someone did a Reddit poll. So of course it's not going to be the most accurate, right? Because there's a certain, I feel like, group of people that go on Reddit, mostly introverts. But so they came up with, the poll said that on Reddit, the highest Enneagram type was 5, followed by 4, then by 9.
The most common?
Most common.
Well, based on what data? Like who actually did this? Like,
an INTP,
what's that based on, though?
An INTP, I guess. They took a poll.
I took a poll of how many people in which community. And Reddit?
On Reddit.
Okay. Well, I mean, actually, that's pretty good data. It tells you at least that amongst Reddit users, the most common type is 5.
Yep.
And that does make sense because introverts are more likely to I spend a lot of time on the internet, but I guess not in places where I'm engaging with text so much.
Do I look like I just woke up?
You look like $1,000,000.
Oh, thanks, babe. What shit pisses you off, Sean Ryan Barron?
Holla back, Ellen Bryan. Holla back.
Up? I got coffee on my shirt too. You gotta be kidding me.
What?
This is the I feel good. I love you.
So today, I'm sharing with the world one simple, strange trick that you can use to make absolutely anyone fall in love with you forever. But I'm not going to spill the beans right away. I got to milk this. It's a pretty important trick. Guaranteed to work.
Sean Ryan Barron, are you a 4? 4s are very artistic and individualistic. They're also probably I think of Angelina Jolie as a 4. She's a good exemplification. There's a lot of class in 4s. A lot of we'll just go get it done.
Sean Ryan Barron, do you live in Los Angeles? Why,
Hey,
yes, I
baby.
do, Eric.
Hey,
Oh,
babe.
cool. You should come over and hang out. That's too far away. Who would live in Youngstown, Ohio? That's so like you, Sean Ryan Barron. You're such a Youngstowner.
Do you consider yourself to be a perfectionist? Because ones do have perfectionist tendencies. Like when I go in my one, I feel the need to clean and have everything in its right place. That's great that it's cheap to live there. Sean Ryan Barron. You know?
Well, you know what I always say about Sean Ryan Barron? He's cheap and easy. Your two defining qualities. No wonder you live in Youngstown. It's easy to live cheaply there.
That's
so
nice.
like you.
So like you.
So
what kind of life do you like to live?
The thing is, when there's stuff that has to be done, I prefer there to be external discipline. So I had to do debate stuff this morning. That means, as a consequence, I made myself go to bed at 2 a.m., even though I probably would have stayed up a little bit longer if I didn't know I had that. I got up at 8:30, which means I got 6.5 hours of sleep. But I had to get up then because I knew I had to put in at least 1 hour of prep. And so it's like I like the external discipline because that makes me get things done. Whereas yesterday morning, I tried to do this thing. I said, look, I always do the things I put on my calendar. I'm going to work on debate prep for 2 hours here on my calendar. Zero chance of me ever even considering doing it. It wasn't until, oh shit, I'm going to meet with them in an hour. I'm not going to have anything done. Well, then I like external discipline because I just don't seem to have any internal discipline. It's like, if it sounds boring, I don't want to do it.
That's so me too.
It's like, yeah.
Which is nice. We don't force each other to do, we really don't like to do things that we don't want to do. And for it, we are happier. But I do think that, I really, really do think that sevens go with sevens best.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, like, we've learned now. Rachel sometimes mentioned, well, we should maybe start to do this thing that's kind of important. And at first, I would think like, oh God, I have to do this thing right now, or soon. I'm just like, do we have to do it now? And then I realized she doesn't want to do it now. The reason she's saying that is because it lets her to do something about it without having to do anything about it. That's perfect. I'm the same way. I am totally the same way. If I don't feel like doing something, I might sometimes put it on a list of things that I don't feel like doing. That really feels like doing something then.
You know what? Eric could talk more about eights because he's got the 8 in his tri-type.
Yeah. I mean, I think eights are...
Hello, Al.
To the extent that I'm in my 8 mode, like when I'm in my 7 mode, I'm trying to avoid reality. When I'm in my 8 mode, I'm trying to change reality. I guess when I'm in my 1 mode, I'm trying to perform best according to reality.
Now, wait, you're 7, 8, 1, you think?
No, I don't think the reason I shouldn't have said that because 7 and 8 don't go with 1. But I did say it anyway, and it's still sort of true, but that doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know why I said that.
Well, they say a lot of studies say that when 7s are in a bad state, they go to 1. I don't know.
I don't think so.
That.
No, I think look. Here's the deal. When the universe is putting very little pressure on me, I can kind of wallow in my 7. But I'm fortunate in that it's also the case that when I'm indulged in what I want, that my 7 can be quite producey. I don't know if I'd call it productive, but it's producey. Which means for me, playing a lot of times involves making something or doing some kind of work-ish thing. There's no doubt that when we made that science video the other day, that even though I enjoyed the process, that qualifies as work.
Mm-hmm. It does.
People always say things like, "Oh, you should make a video like this on that topic here." The thing is, yeah, I should, or I will probably, or something. But people suggest these things that have no idea that 10-minute long video or whatever it is took all night to make. It's like 8 hours or whatever to make.
It's a lot. It's work.
And it's not because I'm slow. I'm not slow at doing the work either. It's just that's what it requires. So it's like every little thing that's a good idea that one might suggest might be something we should do or whatever, is a time requirement. And if it's got any follow-up aspects to it or maintenance steps, then it's even a bigger time requirement. So I'm hesitant to undertake. I'm hesitant to let my enthusiasms run away with me, as they still might sometimes, but they used to run away with me a lot more. And sometimes I get myself deep into a massive project before I sort of was like, I've been running on pure thwackage for the last 4 days, and why did I start this thing? Mm-hmm. What is this thing? What in the world am I doing? Awesome. No, you haven't missed it yet. I haven't shared it with you. Okay, would you like to hear? There's enough people here. I'm going to share the one simple trick, the one tricky little simple thing you can do to force anyone to fall in love with you forever.
Oh my gosh, this is such good advice.
What you need to do, you need to get about 1.5 gallons of oxytocin and a syringe. You're going to go to the person you want to fall in love with you and inject them with 400 cc's of oxytocin. Repeat every 6 hours, and you'll be good to go. Don't let them see other people besides you either. And that's how you can force anyone to fall in love with you.
Did you learn that from... See, I always thought...
Intuition. Came from my brain. Oh, I came up with it myself.
I thought it was Cupid.
Well, okay. Look, I suspect Cupid came up with the same technique. That's what he's using. I don't know that, though. I didn't learn it from him. I asked him how he does it. He was very closed-mouthed about it. But I think he might be honest on it. He might know my one simple trick, but he's not going to tell you. I'm the one who tells you. Cupid's arrows are poison tipped with oxytocin.
So, Morge, I'm going to describe type 9 for you. Type 9 is more passive. They like someone else to kind of take the lead. It takes a lot of it takes a lot of demands on them from other people to get them angry, because they are a type that deals with anger. They're the head, heart, gut. I think they're gut.
The 9 types?
Yeah.
That's gut.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 is heart, and 5, 6, 7 is head.
The thing with 9s is that they'll go along with their friends a lot of times who are more dominant or more extroverted. But because of that, when a 9 expresses something that they want to do, and someone doesn't take them seriously, it can turn into anger. So it's like, oh, I thought say you have a roommate, and as a 9, you usually do the dishes. So one day you just don't do it. You only do your dishes. You don't clean up the other person's. A 9, that's when a 9 is full of it. And the roommate might go, oh, I thought you were going to do the dishes. And a 9 is going to flip off the handle, because it's like, I always do the dishes. You never do the dishes. Why would you expect me to do the dishes? So 9s can take on a lot of what other people have expected of them. So they're very go with the flow kind of people, but they do have their limit. 6 is more, 6 is a head type, which makes them more mental. 6, a good example of a 6 is Tom Hanks. He has this, he's very charming, very funny, but also has this kind of like nail bitey quality to him. Like, oh, did I do the right thing? Oh, I really hope this works out. Sixes, like, they want to be prepared. So, like, my dad always wants to have like a umbrella because he's afraid of having it rain without an umbrella because he's experienced it and it's been difficult for him. Sixes are also very funny. They like to, they can be seen as, sixes can be seen as enablers.
Oof.
Nice job, babe.
Thanks.
Let me help you with that.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel weak in my arms.
Guitar playing?
I think just sort of haven't eaten anything this morning, and I feel kind of
That's good.
just sort of tired from not getting enough sleep in general. So I finally printed out something I wanted to print for a long time, which is a set list.
Oh, cool.
And the songs with the chords and the lyrics on them. And I haven't really run this by her yet, but I want to start practicing these songs with Rachel singing and figuring out like where she'll sing background or where maybe some of them she'll take the lead vocals if it's conducive, whoever's voice is more conducive to. Like some of these songs, it's hard for me to sing because they're at the top of my register or at the bottom of my register, you know? Like this song, if Jesus was people, is it's hard for me to think it's at the top of my range. I think maybe Rachel could sing that one. I need her help in singing this. What's the matter with Chad? Because it's supposed to go like, what's the matter with Chad? Is he terribly but na 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 na, like back and forth like that, you know? Why is this? I didn't want this.
Our kitty has
Oh,
the cutest meows.
She does. She says morale.
It is more morale.
She likes to say morale.
Yeah. I say morale back.
What's the rarest type hanging in the TWFP chat? Probably ESTJ or ESFJ. They're going to be the rarest type to see around typologies stuff because neither type understands whatever possible good NI could be. So basically, the attitude of an ESTJ or an ESFJ, they probably won't express it this way, is why do you need to know anything out in the world to know about yourself? You have all the data right here. You are yourself. You know what your experiences are. You know what they mean, blah, 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 right? So the idea of, for example, using MBTI to understand themselves is completely foreign to them because they literally don't use universal understandings like that. I can't believe you haven't written a song about the righteousness of Ron Solo. I mean, first of all, Ron Solo, I got to say, it's an excellent turn of phrase. I could totally hear it as a lyric, the righteousness of Ron Solo, but it's the righteousness of Ron Solo. I wish it meant something in Italian, though, like Ron Solo means family or something. I think that's probably your best name, Ron Solo, is not Ron Solo or your Huckleberry, but Ron Solo.
I like that. Peter and his Chi. Here's the lighter.
What's the matter with Chad? Did he make Carol mad? No, it was sad. She choked him using some Glad.
Who said that? You mailed the anthrax?
Yeah.
Yo.
That's an NFJ NTP joke.
Yeah.
NFJs and NTPs both have that sense of that same kind of humor. Like Rachel was telling me the other day how when she was a kid, she'd come downstairs in the morning singing, "The best part of waking up is Folgers in your butt."
Yep.
It's like for some reason that's still funny to me today.
Okay.
It's hard to say why, but ENTPs and INFJs both seem to like kind of childish humor sometimes.
Yeah, it is. Like, I still find like your farts fun. I'll always find like a fart funny.
I find them funny only and especially when it's like somebody's going blah, 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 and it's a big part of the conversation. I go, okay, well, here's what I think about that. And then it's like perfectly timed. Then it's funny.
Then it's funny. Well, that is very funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's clever.
Yeah, this is nice to have these. It's like here's what it means to be both an intuitive and a 7 and an ENTP is since way back in Laverne, when I was living in Laverne, which was more than a year ago. What did I rip off from Rick and Morty?
They rip off from you.
I know. I must have a spy hanging around me. I've wanted to print out my songs, but because I didn't have a printer, it's taken me, since I first started thinking about how I really want to print out some songs that I've wrote, so I have copies of them. It's been at least 2 years. So I finally got around to it. And the only reason I got around to it was because my dad bought a printer for his purposes, and I had to set up his connection to the printer with his devices. Had a moment of like, okay, fine. I set up on mine. It only took a minute, and then I printed it. It's like, why should that take me 2 years? How much time, life, and energy have I wasted working around not having printouts of these? In other words, opening in a tab. Okay, let's say I open this song up in a tab, and I want to play it. Well, I have to maybe reduce the 50%, put view full screen. Some of them I have to scroll down. So I'll sometimes put them in 2 separate tabs. There's a whole bunch of setup just to play a song. If I'd done this 2 years ago, all of the time that I devoted towards that bullshit, I would not have devoted towards that bullshit. That's the advantage of TE, right? You realize whether or not I spend 14 hours total over the next year or two on wasted energy is going to be contingent on whether I spend 5 minutes now doing this. That's what TE understands. I mean, that's so ridiculous, Rafael Averos. Just because Rick and Morty also referenced farting as a response to something does not mean that. Do you actually believe that before Rick and Morty, nobody ever made that joke?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I don't even remember the Rick and Morty scene you're referencing, although I think I've seen it.
Because it's so banal.
Yeah,
because everyone that's something that happens. That's a pretty common thing. I'm sorry, Raphael Aveos.
So, okay. Rachel, I want to discuss today a little bit right now what it is that we should do.
Today?
Yeah. I want to throw, and we don't have to pick any of these specific things, but I want to throw a few notions out there. Maybe even, that's right, make a list.
Cool.
Not the kind of list where you have to check things off. It's a possible choices list.
All right.
Because, you don't have to do any possible choices. Unlike the tasks list, which I made the other day, which I had to cross things off.
Oh.
Practice some songs. Make a go somewhere in the car. Oh, I know where the somewhere is. Go to Quartz Hill. What's a Quartz? That sounds like a good one, huh?
It might be a good day for that.
All right, I think it is a good day for that. 2020, the year when flatulence humor was discovered. Yeah, it kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess, Raphael, I can't bust your chops about that because in my life events on Facebook, I take credit for inventing Playful Banner and for discovering the moon.
He does. You really do cover all your bases. I mean, you even go into the female sector in Cosmo. That's a 21st century man.
I'm sorry to hear about Australia lawnmower. I didn't know that was the case. He says there works in a communist state with their ridiculous extreme lockdown rules. And the reason is, of course, very simple. We still have a refusal to engage narratively or discursively with the topic in an honest way by all the people who are speaking most about it. Good point there, Lubomir. If COVID can be transmitted via flatulence, why aren't we wearing bus masks? We are. That's called your pants.
For some fart smells, you should wear a gas mask. Isn't that the thing about farts? They have some that gas from
methane.
Yeah, methane.
Yes, causes global warming. I'm a big contributor myself to global warming in that department. Some people don't contribute nearly as much methane. I'd like to collect it and use it to power my home.
This is definitely a Spacey shirt.
New Zealand has been COVID-free for 100 days. Apparently, they're back to life as normal. We should call Spacey.
That's a good idea.
I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah. Actually, that would be...
And he's gotten rid of Toxic Girl.
Yeah.
Toxic Girl is a supervillain, I think. It's a supervillain based on real life.
You know, the funny thing is, she calls herself Alcoholic Girl as a pseudonym on Instagram.
Alcoholic? And in what universe is she an alcoholic? Well, that is probably the reason for varying results. Got to do your best to answer generally instead of particularly in the moment. An average human produces about a balloon full of farts every 5 minutes. I agree that the Enneagram tests, aren't great or anything, but I really do think Enneagram's easier to test than MBTI. Yeah. I think the best Enneagram test is simply explaining what each of the 3 Enneagram types in a given section mean, and then asking which one the person identifies with most. And you'll get either, definitely this one, or I don't even know. Mm-hmm. And that'll tell you 1, 2, or 3 in the tri-type. So I think it's pretty easy to test. How definitive is that? Not super definitive, but probably more definitive more likely to be correct than any MBTI test, except for mine.
I remember when I found out that I was a 7, I had that kind of like crying moment that you had when you found out you were an ENTP, because at the time I was getting a lot of like feedback that I was like, I'm not like that. But then I read it in the Enneagram and I was like, oh, fuck. I am a very joyful person who is pretty self-centered.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really take other people's opinions into consideration. And like, it just, and the fear thing too. Like reading, I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder I procrastinate with things because of this fear that I have. Like, no wonder I, skip out.
It's weird. It's a weird phenomenon. It's like, I get that it's a sort of a fear, but it's strange. I don't understand it even. I don't understand my own, what is it makes me do that. But first of all, let me just say, Lubomir Cats, I am stealing that. I am copying that for sure. It's great. My ESTP friend has a great fart routine. He'll go, wait, do you hear that? Sounds like you got a loose floorboard down there. And put his foot down carefully and then right on time let out.
That is funny.
That's great. I'm going to totally, next time I'm around people who aren't these people, I'm going to use that if I have a fart coming, if I remember.
I'll help you remember.
You want your future private jet to be powered exclusively by the farts of your critics? Why don't you go have it be fueled by the tears of your critics? Can you fuel a jet with tears? Probably not. But you can fuel a jet with farts. I feel I can answer every option to every question in an online MBTI test, and they're all equally right because the tests feel way too behavioralistic, temporal to me. The problem with most of those MBTI tests is they assume they either assume or what I guess you should say is they only work on people who are treating it as a closed system. So it's like if either the mechanical relationships of functions and types and stuff like that is too complicated, I'm not going to figure it out, so I'm deferring figuring it out to some test. If you're that person, then the test is like, okay, you're appropriate for the test. But if you know anything or acknowledge to yourself that you're trying to figure it out or just are too much of a introverted feeler, then your self-reporting answers are going to be worthless. So overall, it's not a test per se. It's like it doesn't test what type you are unless you're objective, which means it can't be used by any third party to determine what somebody's type is, because only you know whether you're objective, and you probably don't know whether you're objective if you aren't. You almost certainly think you are. I'll use the tears of my critics for a permanent fountain fixture on my yacht. Cha-ching. Indeed. Tell me why the tri-type 548 is so superior to 784.
No.
I will tell you, Huckleberry. It's because 548 is serious, okay? So it's like when Raphael and I get into an argument around here, Raphael, he's serious. He takes that back after we're done, and he really sort of roils over it and muses over it and tears him up inside. Whereas when we're done with this conversation, I'll totally forget it in 5 seconds.
Yeah, he really does.
And that makes me inferior to you. How do you like that, Raphael?
Nice. You did all the hard work for him.
Uh-huh. 2H10 gas plus heat source equals fuel. Hey, I believe I instructed you guys, no chemistry allowed. I don't want any chemistry anywhere near this live stream. I hate chemistry. Chemistry is super boring. We should know that by now.
You want to hear how bad I am at chemistry?
How bad are you at chemistry?
That an ESFP. Because, okay, so at camp last year, one of the activities that I wanted the kids to do because I had bought a book was make gack, like the goo stuff, you know? It's really, really simple to do. And I had a book that had all the directions, but my ESTJ boss she was like, oh, my granddaughter does it. I know how to do it. So she brought the supplies, but it didn't go along with the directions. So the fucking thing ended up being like chunks of like
chemistry. You can't get any more TE than chemistry. Just like deductive reasoning problems are the instantiation of conditionality. That is to say, the lack of causality and the lack of ordinality. Really, chemistry is the incarnation or the instantiation of ordinality. It matters completely the order in which you go, right?
Yeah, it was almost like she wanted me to fail. I was like, oh
your TE polar.
Yeah, it showed. Cause like poor kids, I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't go by the book.
I don't think you forget conflict. No one does, Eric. You finally caught up with me, huh? You finally figured out what I was doing there? Okay. Sometimes I don't. It depends on the kind of conflict. What's interesting, though, Raphael, is by and large, that's not true. There have been many, many, many more occasions when somebody says to me something like, hey, about last time, I have no fucking idea what they're talking about. You know, hey, I know you're mad at me. Am I? I have no. That makes one of us. It's like I don't even remember what you're talking about. That happens way more frequently than me remembering a conflict. However, there are instances where I do remember it. So it's obviously if somebody says something that gets me, then I'm going to remember it. They've been more successful, which is why I took that. I shouldn't have tried to use an FE attack like that or FE subtext like that with you because I don't think you're gonna pick it up. But anyway, yeah, I did. You did pick it up though. That's the point. You did pick it up, and it took you a little while to process it. So the thing is, I did take shots at you, but like the only reason I'd be likely to remember this conversation is because unlike a normal battle, it didn't just go into back and forth. We met it up and we discussed this. I was talking now about how that interaction is working, which is more interesting than actually doing the interaction. It seems to be that Raphael's conflicts aren't conflicts at all to you. It demonstrates you don't take them seriously, much less. Oh no, it demonstrates that I don't see disagreement as a conflict, and I don't see angrily shouting at somebody as indicative of conflict. Real conflict is quiet. Real conflict is if I'm genuinely in conflict with somebody, then I'm unlikely to say much of anything. I see speaking aloud and talking as first and foremost affording you the fundamental courtesy of assuming that you're not my enemy. Because if I were around somebody I truly believe to be my enemy, there's no reason for me to say anything. Let them speak. I'll use their words against them. I don't see debating stuff or arguing or yelling at each other or whatever. I don't see that as conflict. That's the juicy part of life. Conflict is genuinely like being at odds with somebody. I don't ever have a problem. Almost never do I have a problem with people around here. I have a problem with the words that are on the flow. It doesn't matter who said them, really. These words that somebody said are wrong. Well, who's wrong? I don't remember who said it. It doesn't matter. The point is these words that somebody said are wrong.
Another thing that 4 Enneagram tends to do is they don't like people telling them to smile. That just popped in my head.
Your Huckleberry, it doesn't sound presumptuous. It may even be right, but I know that when I draw those sort of conclusions, it's like, okay, I'm impacted by every conversation in some way or another. It is also true that some of those impacts I'm conscious of and represent a sort of intentionally realized incorporation of new meaning. Some of them I'm unconscious of and may represent a incorporation of new meaning that's non-conscious, non-willful. I mean, your Huckleberry, like these, if you want to say something that I'm going to remember and be annoyed by long term, it's going to be statements like this. Eric gets in debate mode and nothing gets through after that. And the reason that I'm going to find that particularly appalling is because it's so totally untrue. It doesn't matter how much in debate mode I'm in. Everything the other person says gets through. I process it all. I respond to it all. I address it all, actually address it.
Yeah.
Now, I might not be doing so in a tone that you normally associate with people who are actually addressing things. But for me, even when my tone is that normally correlates with somebody avoiding an issue, I'm mad because the other person is avoiding what I'm saying. It's never the case that I'm avoiding what the other person is saying. That's what other people do to me. I mean, your Huckleberry, here's the thing. If I have chosen a frame and am defending it, it's because it's the right frame to choose and deserves to be defended. Why that would, you're saying losing my exploratory processes. I'm 49 years old and a professional debate coach who's argued every side of every topic you could possibly imagine, understands every argument as a subset of a kind of argument, and has the entire history of rhetorical thought at his disposal to fully realize what it means to think well and completely. The notion that I need to explore more is insane. I need, if anything, to archive more. You have to understand. So I think the point of debate is to find the truth. Well, I think the most important effect of debate is that it allows people to develop muscles they otherwise would atrophy, namely muscles of objective or disinterested calculus. It's especially important for people who are not native to that calculus to find some way to practice and incorporate it. Because even though it's like, if I'm not native to a principled kind of objective calculation, then there's one thing I could do is I could be prioritized on those aspects of life that for which my native ways are native. So if let's say I'm a FISE person, most likely not a big problem because I'm not interested in public policy. I'm not interested in the universal at all. I'm interested in pleasuring myself and getting intensity out of relationships and stuff. So there's no problem there. The people who are suited for public policy end up being interested in it. People who are unsuited are uninterested in it. The problem is generally your ESTJs and your ENTJs are big problems because they are the same as ISFPs in terms of lacking the equipment to make good decisions because of their value matrix and what they prioritize and what they don't, while concurrently being insistent that they be involved in the decision making and how to fix things. They are extremely useful in how to implement a given idea that's been validated by people who are equipped to validate ideas. I'm not equipped to implement or design a specific solvency mechanism to implement the vision that I am equipped to validate or falsify. So what we have here is a circumstance where you've got smart people who don't understand the frame and therefore are applying their intelligence in the wrong way to the wrong thing and end up being a dramatic threat despite their good intentions. Right. The other thing to remember about debate and what makes it such the pinnacle of civilization is debate says why and whether we agree, disagree, do something is a matter of objective data. Everyone can hear it. Everyone can. In other words, you don't get to defer from justifying yourself when you're making claims upon the people and property of others. It's a fundamental good principle that should underline and begin the conversation. To begin with the frames. We have to begin with the frames. Look, Lauren, the point of a debate is whatever the debater's point is. Debates don't occur in a vacuum. It doesn't have an identity where debate is purpose for this thing. All of life, in all areas, various people adjudicate matters of in dispute, one way or the other. Debate is one way of adjudicating matters in dispute. What you might say debate is it's the civilized way to adjudicate matters in dispute. And the more civilized you are, the more capable you are of deciding things that way. The less civilized you are, the less credence you give to the idea that it needs to be legitimate for more people than you. So if you are convinced you know best and you're just concerning yourself with what you want to do with your stuff at your house, fine. If you're convinced you know best and you're directing your attention to what everybody ought to do, then you better be able to justify it, or else you're simply claiming that because you're you should get to boss everyone around. Okay, so your Huckleberry, debate is the best guarantee against arbitrary coercion. You keep wanting me to say it's the best tool to find the truth, but tools don't find truths. Tools do things effective, like prevent authoritarianism. When individuals have to justify their decisions that impact other people, it's much more difficult for authoritarianism to take place. Totalitarianism. When a person's status or person is enough to justify things, like your Huckleberry, the other night we were talking, and I know what's the best thing to do. I mean, I certainly don't trust you to know what the best thing to do is. If you can't justify it, then why should anybody believe you know what the best thing to do is? Imagine if you breastfeed your baby, it bites, and you accidentally laser it away. Why are you holding a laser while breastfeeding your baby? Oh, I should have put the laser down. I know I lasered away my baby.
Oh, no.
How do you laser away a baby? You slowly just laser layer by layer until it's just all dust on the floor? Laser nipples is the topic? Oh, I see. The lasers come out of the nipples.
Oh, that's even more dangerous.
Oh, you're right. Now I understand. Imagine you're breastfeeding, the baby bites your nipples, and an involuntary accidental reaction, you release the laser, and I guess this laser doesn't shoot through the baby, but rather forces the whole baby away from your breast.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, that's the thing. Any given argument, if given primacy and say if told this kind of argument doesn't have to justify itself, then that will, of course, be the specific tool of oppression used in establishing the authoritarian regime. Whatever they just, so it's like, Okay, well, we're going to be really logical, except about religion. And the Quran is number one thing, and that trumps everything else. You don't have to justify anything with that. Okay, well, then now all of a sudden, everything's justified by that. Because if there's an area where you don't have to make justifications, then anything you want to do that's bad and unjustifiable, you're going to do in that area. True. Good point, utter self. You know, Raphael, why weren't you thinking ahead like utter self? Why didn't you give birth to a laser-proof baby? If you're going to breastfeed him in that fashion? You know, it's like Clark Kent, Lois Lane, right? That's Superman and his ultra powerful sperms. Lois Lane can't handle those things. Each sperm is like a crossbow bolt. It's very small and wet, though. So she's got. This is the thing. If Superman's going to successfully have sex with Lois Lane, he's going to have to pull out and shoot away from her. Otherwise, he's going to injure her.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm. And he better not slip up. He better not like, oops, because she's dead. It's like the back of her head, the top of her head is blown out, and on the wall there's blood and then some white stuff on it. Terrible fate for Lois.
I'll take this.
Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
You're a wonderful and spectacular angel of delight.
Thank you, baby.
Are we talking about how musical improvisation relates to the cognitive functions? Yes. Improvisation in general is paired with or correlates with extroverted intuition. I'm an extroverted intuition Dom, and that means if you were to ask 10 people at random, or 16, you ask 16 people, one of each type at random, to improvise a song on the fly. The best two types at it would probably be ENTP and ENFP. And the reason for that is extroverted intuition is a function that takes action on the metaphysical plane. And that's where a song exists, basically. I heard about how a girl's allergic specifically to her boyfriend's sperm. She probably thinks that, but she's probably like, every time we have sex, my eyes really sting afterwards. I'm allergic to his sperm. Maybe you should tell him to stop coming in your eyes. You're an NTP jazz pianist? Cool. You probably do jazz improv stuff, right? Like if I were going to improv something, I would improv a song, you know, like. Oh, King Davy, plays the piano just like me. He likes to make stuff on the fly. He's a very jazz piano guy, yeah. Kenton Davy makes up his songs. They're so wavy and they have been all along. That's what Kenton Davy wants to go to Cooperstown. Get himself admitted to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Cooperstown. Righteousness of Ron Solo. I will include Righteousness of Ron Solo in one of my songs at some point. I would like to. My voice can bring dinosaurs back on Earth.
Oh, your dad's back. Did you know?
Yeah, I briefly talked to him.
Oh.
Is that? I'm not sure. Is that an insult? I can't tell. Is something that would bring dinosaurs back to life bad or good, or I'm not sure. Sammy has a story that need be told. This is a song for the open road, and such a thing must always do its job. Married up Jeb, turned 19, 4 years in and 3 kids. Weary now and questioning the path. Agency out, faced his discretion, locking in our courses. Way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Doug at 20 having fun, likewise Doug at 21, and so forth, well up into middle age. But once it seemed to set him free, became his whole identity. Now Doug's about another drunken rage. Agency out, face his discretion, locking in our courses. Way too young. The urgency conferred is really just depression. But they haven't got a thing that's fun. Hi, Dad.
Wednesday, 3 p.m. at Sunrise.
Great. Let me put it on my calendar.
And that's back at the patio.
Great.
So I'm going to tell Cameron.
Okay. Cool. Wednesday, 3 p.m.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay.
M-O-M, spelled mom. Oh, like this one. There we go. At least someone welcomed me. Welcome.
Welcome.
I don't think it was me who welcomed you, so I'm going to welcome you now. How do you think about music? Music theory? I don't think about music theory at all. I have no idea about music theory, except I mean, I know a little bit. I could, in theory, sight read music. It would take me a super long time to go, okay, that's noted as the F, G, A. I could do that, you know. But I just go by my intuition. And I don't know at all really how it fits in theory-wise. 30,000 days. Too many expectations. Not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights to sleep off the intoxication. Otherwise, you won't avoid the plan. I wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I'm tired of doing it wrong. Want direction and have all along. Wait until I know. Or is that hesitation? Verity's no good once your chance is gone. What I need to show is it's so below my station. Tired of doing it wrong. I wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, I think I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, I think I'm doing it wrong. Thanks, darling. Thanks, my precious wonder pants of an angel. This is my newest song. I'm going to play this newest song, and then I'm going to stop playing songs. And I'm probably going to wrap this up pretty quick. But I do want to play my newest song. It's not obviously, I haven't got it like rock solid down like an old song, but it's hopefully I'll play it rightish. If Jesus was people but absent of sin, he must then have struggled with regular men and women, of course. When they too were present, disciples all warily eyeing the lesson. If people were Jesus, they'd know as they think, and everyone's work would be true. And feelings once spoken would settle and sink, and we all know just what to do. But people aren't Jesus once they're betrayed. Easy believing forever is lost. Maybe not a day that day is saved. The wise pay a terrible cost. This is kind of hard to read. I should really have my glasses. Does virtue require a rational take? Or is virtue that's reasoned invariably fake? Does musing itself just distract from the flow? Or is care better served by deliberate and slow? People aren't Jesus once they're betrayed. The easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. The wise pay a terrible cost. One you thought you knew acts like you never met. The life you made for truth has faded to regret. No one unshaken, we all have been shook, but being forsaken don't mean you're forsook. And though in the past we've been hung out to dry, we'll find them at last if we're willing to try. But people aren't Jesus when they're betrayed. Easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Yeah, the wise pay a terrible cost. And baby, naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Thanks.
I like that.
I like the song a lot too. I really like this song after living with it for a bit. It's unlike most of my songs, it's in 3, and it's hard to write a song in 3 that I end up liking long term. That one I like a lot. Who is the guy who always argues Eric is a sensing zone? I think it's actually not a Jesus song. There's nothing pro-Jesus or anti-Jesus about it in this song. It's conditional. It says, if Jesus were people, but absent of sin, he must then have struggled with regular men and women, of course, when they too were present, disciples all warily eyeing the lesson. If people were Jesus, they'd know as they think, and everyone's work would be true, and feelings when spoken would settle and sink, and we'd all know just what to do. But people aren't Jesus once they're betrayed. The easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Does virtue require a rational take, or is virtue that's reasoned inevitably fake? Does amusing itself just distract from the flow, or is care better served by deliberate and slow? In chorus. The one you thought you knew acts like you've never met. The life you made for two has faded to regret. There's no one unshaken. We all have been shook, but being forsaken don't mean you're forsook. And though in the past we've been hung out to dry, we'll find them at last if we're willing to try. But people aren't Jesus, and once they're betrayed, the easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved. The wise pay a terrible cost. Yeah, baby naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Isn't that nice? It's not about Jesus. That's what makes it brilliant. If it were actually a Jesus song, you could never mention Jesus and succeed aesthetically. If this song were actually about Jesus, it would have to have no mention about Jesus or Christ or God or anything for it to succeed artistically. The only way it can succeed artistically being full of Jesus is to be absolutely not about Jesus. See? Can I play the What's Wrong With song? Sure. Thank you for requesting. That's greatly appreciated. I do appreciate it a lot when people ask me to play something. It's like, wow, how nice. I default to the assumption that the real thing people want to ask me to do is to stop playing the guitar.
What's so cute? Oh, see the little smile? Aww.
Well, where is that one? Here it is. Okay. This is a fun song. I like to play it. I like to sing it. This one I definitely want Rachel and I to work on practice. I want to ask she and I to. Look, my stuff is much more successful when I have at least one other party participating, especially another voice. It doesn't hurt. She's a pretty girl, but even Spacey wasn't a pretty girl, but still, it helped. I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you to do it right now because we have to practice something. I'm just suggesting this is gonna. I'm excited about the idea of incorporating Rachel into these little singing things.
Well, I want to tell you, I'm excited about it too.
Cool.
So.
What's the matter with Chad? Is he terribly bad? Is he very like Dan, who's a terrible man? Is he sort of like Jill, who can't pay her bill? Or rather like Jack, who's stuck on the facts? What's the matter with Sue? Will she know what to do if they bring attitude? Will she show ingenuity? She talks about you whenever we go walking. What's the matter with Bryn? Is she terribly? What's the matter with Bryn? He's been living in sin. She's been hanging with Jim. He's looking terribly thin. What's the matter with Frank's been papering my tank. He's colluding with you, and they're talking to Lou. What's wrong with the ladies? What's the matter with men? From the feelings of Katie to the coldness of Sven. She talks about you whenever we go walking. Paths that lead to lesser days. Spill out the overwatered path. And whoever's left that's still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast. Are you angry at Ken or at Neville again? Don't bother with Kev, he's practically dead. Just focus on Bert, he's medium hurt. What's the quantity for Liz? Did she fail a quiz? What's the matter in her? Will she know what to do if they bring attitude? Will she show ingenuity? It talks about you whenever we go walking. Paths that lead to lesser days. Spill out the overwatered past. And whoever's left that's still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast. 'Cause each of us have much and gravely sinned. Throw up the hands, it's in the chin. 'Cause as we're feeling heavy overhead again, time's gone will never be again. ESTJ, make make his rules follows anyhow. Yes? Oh, grooming zone. No, don't be silly. Did you think I was forcing you to stay here? I'm not. I didn't ask you to come here or stay here. Certainly, it's not the case that I'm making you listen to anything. Do your fingers not work? Can you not push X on the browser tab? Or do you simply wish to control what happens in this place you don't like by this guy you don't like? I mean, why? Why don't you address your attention to something you do like then? The fact is, I want to concede a point here, grooming zone. The fact is, it is something that I worry about, and a little frustrating to me because, by and large, I operate under the assumption that people do not want to listen to me play songs on the guitar and sit around here and do that. I get that, and I agree with it more or less. As a consequence, I don't tend to play for a super long time, although sometimes I do. Depends kind of what mood I'm in. But I think it's a perfectly reasonable critique to make that, hey, I don't want to just sit here listening to you practice these songs you don't even really have down yet. Totally legitimate critique. But the thing is, it is not the case. It's completely incorrect to say that I am forcing anybody to listen to them. Grooming Zone, I don't need you to like my songs, okay? And I don't really care if you like or don't like me or whatever. But I do want to correct you that it is not the case that I'm making anybody listen to anything. Grooming Zone wants to groom you. I bet Grooming Zone's like a barber or something.
Or metrosexual.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. So you like to be consumed by evil manipulators? Who likes to be consumed by evil manipulators? I mean, I don't even know who you are. How can I possibly care about you? It is the case that if you were to come in here and successfully say some provocative things that annoyed me, I would get bothered by it enough to be like, that's not true. But I still wouldn't be about you. It would be about whatever it is you said. He said you are just that, and he said he likes you. I am just what? Let's see. Oh, I'm an ESTJ, huh? Type please. The man playing guitar at the ESTJ. So let's see what the justifications are. The way he defends his thoughts. So he's an executive type. Okay. The way I defend my thoughts make me an executive type. So how would I defend them differently if I were a non-executive type? Song still contains trace amounts of Jesus. Just wait till your intuition has finished processing it. And I assure you, you'll find it entirely Jesus-free. At Grooming Zone is C.S. Joseph Incognito? Possibly. I don't think so. I don't know C.S. Joseph. This man will enforce his thoughts on everyone, but I must say he is hardworking. I mean, that's such a strange thing to say. Because one of the legitimate critiques of me is I'm not hardworking enough at attaining outcomes I would agree are morally indicated for me to attain. But that, and the other thing I would say is, first of all, I can't enforce thoughts. You enforce rules or laws, but if you mean force,
Yeah.
I don't force my thoughts on anybody. It's like I've been thinking lately about how I really need to go force my thoughts on some people by hanging up a sign on the freeway that says "Let it run its course." That would be compelling others to hear my thoughts because I'm putting right in front of their field of vision some words that I came up with. This is the exact opposite of forcing my thoughts on people. This is people choose to come hear my thoughts or not. It couldn't be any further than forcing. I can abuse you or criticize you. I'm neither abusing nor criticizing you. I'm correcting words that were wrong, and that's fine. I don't want you to be sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. Why would you be sorry if you didn't do anything wrong? Being wrong is not doing something wrong. Maybe Sunflowers has abused you? I know, right? We are really need a vocabulary lesson, Grooming Zone, about what words like force mean and words like abuse. What do you think? Eric, what do you think the soul is? It's that one missing element in your music. You feel abused too? I mean, look, the thing is, obviously, I'm going to win an argument on why the proper attentional manner to winning arguments is the better one to use in winning arguments. It's almost circular, And for a TE person, you're engaging in argumentation, but you're saying, remember, this argumentation isn't determinative of anything. Ultimately, the major frame is TE. And I say, well, okay, but unfortunately, you walked onto the basketball court before proclaiming that this is a football field. And I just have to sort of go, but see, it is a basketball court. It's like this is the sort of thing that we need to use TI about, not TE. I don't think Grooming Zone is Raphael necessarily. I'm not sure why you would think. Raphael's not Cloud. Cloud is Cloud, and Mike Jones is Cloud. Those are the two Clouds I can think of. I don't think Cloud is anybody other than Cloud and Mike Jones. I am quite sure Cloud is Mike Jones. Mike Jones could not be more cloudy if he were trying to imitate Cloud.
Yeah, they're definitely one and the same. And I could see why someone would say that Grooming Man is Raphael, but no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Because, I think that it's hard to say what page in the trolling playbook Grooming Zone's on right now. Suffice it to say, taking these words entirely seriously is probably ill-advised. The technique may be to confuse and baffle with assorted actions that don't seem to link and words that don't seem to link. And that's not a bad strategy.
No, I don't feel it is.
Lawnmower. I don't believe that Grooming Zone is Raphael.
Are Lawnmower and Raphael at odds with each other? Raphael and Lawnmower, do you guys have a
beef?
A beef? Are you guys chest thrusting at each other?
Mm-hmm.
You watched that movie? It was very fun. I was thinking this morning, I was thinking to myself outside, like, I have to give that movie a 10. I don't think I've ever really given a movie a 10 before. That movie was absolutely a perfect masterpiece. I just didn't enjoy it, but I have to give full credit to the artists the closest movie I've seen to one that's that put together was Thor Ragnarok, which got 9.5.
Wait, what movie? Wait, Hot American Summer?
No. The
before
before
sunrise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my Hot American Summer got a 9 from you.
Yeah, I know.
That's a great
that got a
movie.
9. Thor Ragnarok 9.5, but Before Sunrise got a 10. I've never given anything a 10 before. I can't conceive of them making any other decisions at any point in the movie and them being better than the ones they made. So how can I mark it down for anything? My experience doesn't matter regarding my evaluation of its quality. The fact that I didn't enjoy watching it doesn't preclude me from understanding it's an absolute masterpiece of a film.
I like that it's a real story.
I don't.
Don't.
I like it better as in my head as a wholly NI vision manifest rather than NIFI, I guess, but rather than actually linking to someone's experience. But I don't think it probably links that much to the experience.
I don't think so. It's
I missed him say the title again. You mean what's it called? Before Sunrise?
Yeah.
Why are you attacking your subscribers? Am I attacking my subscribers? Why are you throwing frogs into the pond? Right, Eric and Rachel, come on. You guys agree. You guys will come around. Around on what? What are we agreeing or not agreeing with? I don't even know what I'm agreeing or not agreeing with. Because we aren't bitches and he's not a pimp. Yeah, I'm not attacking anybody. Like, what do you think comprises an attack, Grooming Zone? Oh. If I were to make this, I would try to deceive you. What else would be the point of it? The thing is, I haven't seen really any of the textbook typical Raphael misspellings in Grooming Zone. Raphael's spelling is generously haphazard, I guess I should say. If we're going to generously describe it, I'd call Raphael's spelling haphazard. Please don't correct my fallacies. You're hurting my feelings and abusing me. I'm not even correcting any fallacies today. It's just I'm just chatting with people. There. That's better. All right. Well, Lawnmower, even if your intuition is telling you that if Raphael was trying to make himself not seem the same as Grooming Zone, then it would look like this. But it's also the case that if they actually weren't the same, it would look like that. So sometimes you got to put a little bit of a check on your intuition there. Not everything that could mean something means that thing. He actually says britches. Yes, he did say britches.
Who says britches?
He says because we're not britches and he's not our pimp.
That's
Yeah.
great. I like that.
I don't know you at all. I don't need to know you. I'm not responding to you. I'm responding to your words. Fortunately, words, unlike people, are knowable. I made fun of you on the first day. Did you say something really dumb? If so, then that's a natural consequence of your dumbness. I don't want to say your dumbness. I should say the dumbness of those words. The good thing is, Ruin Zone, when our words backfire on us because we've said dumb words, we have a golden opportunity to learn something and realize, oh, that's why I'm not going to say those dumb words anymore. And this is why those words are dumb. Here are better words I'm going to use next time. It's a growth opportunity. ESTJ, that's like I just told you. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm saying some words you said must have been dumb. And when I made fun of them, you mistakenly believed I was making fun of you. You are not your words. I am not Jesus. I'm Eric. Jesus is my gardener. although he does pronounce it the Mexican way. Nice meeting me. Nice meeting you too. Okay, I'm gonna go abuse me a sandwich. Good idea, Otter Self. I think Rachel and I need to abuse ourselves some sandwiches here pretty quick. Why don't we go through a fast food place and maybe go to Court Hill? You want to do that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna wrap this up. I am enjoying this live stream. Normally, when I wrap them up, it's because I'm kind of bored with it. But today, I'm wrapping up because something more pressing is pressing, which is I want to go get some McDonald's and I want to take Rachel to Quartz Hill and see if we can find some fun pieces of quartz.
Should I wear sneakers?
Quartz Hill. You know, quartz crystals. Yes, you should wear sneakers or boots or something like that. Not flip-flops. Grooming zone, typically in the understanding of the broader internet, all caps is considered yelling.
Yeah.
I'm in here because I'm afraid you're going to make me look foolish. I just yelled at you now, Lamal. When did I yell at you? I yelled at you? Today? I don't think so. Maybe I did. I guess if you consider anything other than positive FE yelling, then not me. My bad. That's why you use the at thing. Okay, at you're an asswipe is better than just you're an asswipe because I'm gonna assume it's directed at me. If there's no at it, I assume it's at me.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, grooming zone, you are yelling because that's what all caps is yelling.
Yes.
All caps is yelling when you're using your keyboard words.
I really was wondering, I'm like, why is he, besides to get attention, like, why is he all capsing it? Like, bruh, chill.
Anyway, before I go, I'm gonna pass on to each of you a special magical wonder nugget. Okay, this wonder nugget, you can't see it, but you'll be able to feel it in your soul. What is this wonder nugget gonna do? Today is going to release you from one of your wrong attachments. I don't know which one. You don't know which one. I'm going to give myself one too. Wonder nugget.
Yeah.
I got to transubstantiate. Wonder nugget. And then one more time. Wonder nugget. And there. It's done. You can feel it. Just got to be quiet. Be still. Just wait. You can feel it. A little warm, growing puddle inside your soul. At first, it feels like pee next to you in a swimming pool. Like if you pee in a swimming pool and you feel the warmness right there. That's what it's going to feel like, but in your soul instead of in your swimming pool. All right. So goodbye for now. I'll see you later.
Wait, can you do a poll for me?
Okay. Yes, I'll do a poll. All right. This first card is for the area of life in which the Wonder Nugget is going to provide you its glorious payoff.
Okay.
The area of life is partying.
Cool.
3 of Cups.
That is nice.
That
is a nice wonder nugget.
Wine pouring baby. Now that's the area in which the Wonder Nugget is going to impact you. Now this is the strategy of impact in that area the Wonder Nugget's going to use. Because though it's possible the Wonder Nugget's going to distract you with a bunch of sticks up in the air, and while you're looking away, it's going to do its magic thing.
Ooh.
And here's going to be the outcome of Wonder Nugget's magical works. This is the outcome. Look. Enjoying some tea, looking out the window. It's the 9 of Pentacles.
Woo.
That's the outcome of the Wonder Nugget's work on your partying.
How nice.
In other words, it's going to make you realize, hey, I've been a little bit too attached to this teacup and looking out the window. I'm going to go pull a couple of bowls.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the balls.
Anybody else wants a card pull? I'll do a 1 card pull for anybody who wants one real quick. Just say it. You got
So your Wonder Nugget.
You got till 1:36 to say you want to pull. If I don't hear anybody ask for it by then, I'll end it. You got 1 minute to tell me you got a pull. You want to pull. Who wants a pull? This could determine the difference between whether you are happy and successful or sad and failing. Don't worry about it, Grumman. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it. I hope I criticize other YouTubers too on the show. I mean, it'd be great if you were to criticize me on my shortcomings. I could learn from that. Who wanted to pull? Anybody? Oh, Raphael. Raphael wants a pull. Here we go. Raphael, this is how the Wonder Nugget's going to address you and your life. Where is the Wonder Nugget going to impact Raphael? Right in his community hole. This is the community card. You've got a lot of colorful lasers coming up in your future.
Cool.
Okay, so Raphael's Wonder Nugget's working on community. Rachel's working on partying. Let's see what my Wonder Nugget's working on.
Yeah.
My Wonder Nugget's working on the High Priestess, intuition.
Ooh, that's a fact.
Uh-huh. That means I'm going to be High Priestess today. Anybody else want one? Nope. Okay.
Hi, Capio.
All right, Kitty, I'll do one for you. Capio's Wonder Nugget. Let's see what it's going to do.
You are a wonder.
Capio's Wonder Nugget is King of Pentacles.
Ooh, your dad.
Wonder Nugget.
Wonder Nugget.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We love you. We'll see you soon.